What's up, my dudes? It's the Vigorous Q&A again. Thanks so much for all of your messages over the last week. I got about 12 guys reaching out, or 10 guys reaching out with similar injuries as mine. A quad tendon tear, my bad, and following with the surgery and rehabilitation and all that kind of stuff. And many of those guys reached out that they followed a similar protocol as mine that I always discuss here on the YouTube channel, and then showing me their before and after pictures, basically. 2 weeks post-op, 4 months post-op, 6 months post-op, that kind of stuff. And I believe that there's hope. Yeah, it actually looks very promising. So a lot of guys have been using my protocol that I laid out there many years ago regarding connective tissue injuries and how to recover from surgery as fast as possible. And that looks very, very promising. So we'll update that a little bit later down when we get to the description of this video. So far, so good. I'm already walking. Who would have known? Yeah, today I went to some hot rod show with a lot of custom cars and motorcycles, and I'm just walking around with crutches. Actually, not just with a knee brace, not with the crutches. And that's going well so far. So tomorrow I'll meet the doctor. Let's see if we can start some rehab work. Then I'll probably start doing a little bit of bicycle work again because, well, it's been like 2.5 weeks now without daily fasted cardio. And my resting heart rate went up from 55 to 80. Shows you how fast you detrain. Well, I'm running Hereditary tight, obviously, 10 milligrams per week. So I'm sure that's increasing my resting heart rate. But with the daily fasted cardio, my resting heart rate was about 50, maybe 50 in some days. And now it's already up to 80. This goes to show you how fast you detrain. All right, a couple updates. For the guys who missed it last week, we didn't get so many views on the Anabolic Roundtable, but I would highly appreciate and recommend you guys to watch it for hair loss prevention and gynecomastia prevention. And if you have hair loss and gyno, well, we discuss the surgeries too. I did a podcast with It's Just Bodybuilding. In case you haven't watched it, it's linked down below. There's a Boldenone deep dive by Molecular Sean. A lot of people linked that to me. I watched it already. It's a good deep dive for a guy who's just getting started on YouTube. A great deep dive. 3 segments basically. Why Boldenone acts as an aromatase inhibitor, and then the kidney issues, and what was it? I think the third part was the oxidative stress, and some other discussions. So, yeah, it was a fascinating video. I did have to fact check him a little bit because Sean, the molecular, started talking about Boldenone, which is basically a product name of Underground Labs Boldenone. So I figured maybe he used AI, and the AI went, haywire and rogue, and came up with terms. But he mentioned somewhere in the video that there are several metabolites that he used for RD kit. RD kit is basically a method to see what potential metabolites could form from Boldenone through several different pathways. So you use RD kit. It's not something that I have access to or I'm familiar with. I usually use something like Perplexity or ChatGPT to see potential pathways, nowadays at least, or use the scientific evidence of real metabolites that are formed in Boldenone in various different study settings. So you have different potential metabolites and proven metabolites through the scientific evidence. So he did potential metabolites using RD-KIT, ending up at equilin, a horse estrogen, or an estrogen only present in horses, which has no scientific evidence that that's present in humans, formed from Boldenone. So again, it's a potential pathway that one of the metabolites, which he named as Boldenone, could potentially form into equilin. And I reached out to him and said, is this correct? Did you use AI? Was the AI hallucinating? I can't find any scientific evidence that Boldenone or equilin is present in humans. Now, you can find some scientific evidence that equilin is being formed from another compound in humans, but not from Boldenone. So again, the potential pathways that could possibly form by using RD-KIT are a little bit different than results you would get by using Perplexity and using the established enzymatic reactions coming from Boldenone or other anabolic androgenic steroids ending up at certain metabolites. And then we got to keep into consideration the rate of conversion as well. Now, we know that Dianabol converts at, 2.7% into dihydrodianabol, which could potentially be the same for Boldenone, converting into dihydroboldenone. We don't know the conversion rate into ATD, 1AD, and the other metabolites which have aromatase enzyme inhibiting effects. So by the time you get to equilin potentially, it could be like 0.00007%, and then we don't know the receptor affinity of equilin compared to estradiol either. So very interesting deep dive. I gave him a little bit of pointers, being the deep dive specialist, obviously. And I think he's working on the Trembolone sandwich deep dive now too. So maybe you can find some more information than I was able to find on the Trembolone deep dive. Right, all the documentation for my Boldenone deep dive is there, but well, I'm a daddy now and I have priorities. And I'm finally happy to see that that somebody else is picking up the slack. It only took 1 year. It only took 1 year. So Sean, good on you. It's a link down below. I'll probably have to watch it again because some things I did not know about. But when it comes to metabolites, you know, being a former guy that used to help people beat the drug test by being very well aware of the metabolites, I had to do a little bit of additional research, and my research did not end up at the same result that he did. But again, he used different pathways using these RD kits. I told him, you know, maybe explain to people how RD kit works and take some screenshots and how you get to your conclusion. Then we can understand a little bit better, because if I run the same query through Perplexity or AI using the established conversions with the enzymatic reactions that we have access to, I did not get to the same result. So let's see. But hey, the more educators, the better, right? Do I believe that Boldenone converts into a horse estrogen in the brain? Potentially, albeit in trace amounts. Potentially, not confirmed in human scientific data. Okay, have a new Instagram. Guys, I get 10,000 views on this live stream, but nobody's subscribing to my new Instagram. Do me a solid. I don't think I'm going to get my old Instagram back. Do me a solid. Subscribe to vanilla.vigorsteve. All right, so you can get some updates. Gorilla Mind is a restock of Gorilla Mind or Mode Calm, Nitric, Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode Nitric Blue Raspberry, and Gorilla Mind Collagen Blue Raspberry flavors, just 10% discount, code Vigorous. Merrick Health launched their own line of supplements called Merrick Supplements. So for all of the health supplements that Gorilla Mind no longer has, instead of going to iHerb, where you only get 5% discount with code Vigorous, you can get 10% discount over at Merrick Supplements, and the link is down below. And Disguised Research, now rebranded to Disguised Alpha, has finally launched their Pro-Vigorous pre-workout blend. Yes! So that contains basically several ingredients to enhance the pump, several ingredients to enhance fatty acid oxidation, and several ingredients to take care of lactic acid, and also helps with vasodilation. So give that one a try. Mine is still on the way, unfortunately, so I haven't tried it myself yet. But I'm going to do a couple private blends with Disguised Research, Disguised Alpha. And if you thought the pre-workouts that are in the market are good now, wait until I get my hands on it. And they launched Metatrutide, which is basically retatrutide plus pegylated MGF, mechano growth factor, with a longer half-life of approximately 48 to 72 hours. So you got GLP-1, GIP, glucagon, 10 milligrams, and then 2 milligrams pegylated MGF on top. Not entirely sure how that's going to work, because all of my experience with MGF, basically the raw version used for side enhancement, and pegylated PEG MGF has been not very successful, but I'm still willing to give it a try and see how it turns out. And maybe this is a much better formulation than previous. And of course, this is a little somewhat inspired by bioglutide, which was supposed to be GLP-1, GIP, glucagon, and IGF-1 receptor agonism, but bioglutide turned out to be a fluke. So the guys over at Disguised Alpha are like, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. And we'll put pegylated MGF in there because that has a longer half-life. And it's, might yield some good results. So there's a Pro-Vigorous blend is off right now with 20% with code Vigorous. And let's see, the Metatrutide is the regular 10%. So give that one a consideration if you're interested. Regarding the quad tendon injury and surgery recovery protocol, I'll give you a little bit of an update. Testosterone is still 200 milligrams per week. Micronized progesterone, 300 milligrams per week. Oxandrolone, 20 milligrams per day. Growth hormone, 5 IUs per day. I found some scientific evidence in liraglutide that GLP-1 receptor agonism, proven with liraglutide, helps with tendon and connective tissue strength. Now, I have still no idea why my quad tendon spontaneously combusted even though I was on Hereditary. So maybe for Hereditary that doesn't play out. There's no scientific evidence that Hereditary helps with tendon and connective tissue health. But for liraglutide, there's some scientific evidence. So I preemptively added Hereditary to the stack because, well, what isn't scientific evidence today might be scientific evidence tomorrow. And through GLP-1 receptor agonism, you might improve the recovery of tendon-related injuries. So that's 5 milligrams sub-Q 2 times weekly, 10 milligrams weekly total. Again, TB500, BPC 157, KPV, GHQ copper. That's all in already. Cartilax is on the way. That will be 10 milligrams per day. Sitagliptin is in there to prevent the breakdown of some of these peptides, including IGF-1 and insulin. Let's see. Hyaluronic acid injections I'm going to do once rehab begins, because I already discussed with the doctor last week, Sunday, to see if they were willing to do that. The intra-articular or within the joint, intra-articular, not articulation, well, whatever, into the joint. They were not really game, so I'd have to do it somewhere else. And honestly, doing this injection every single week with an ultrasound, it's a little bit cumbersome. So what I'm going to do is I have like 2.5 cc's, 25 milligram hyaluronic acid available here already. Thailand, just make a phone call and it's right at your door. Grillamine root beer, energy drinks. Oh man, so tasty. Shameless plug. So I'll do that sub-Q as close to the connective tissue or the quad tendon tear as possible. And then it probably will take some time to metabolize because intramuscular and subcutaneous injections take way longer to metabolize and absorb than the intra-articular injections. But I won't be able to do that. And then Kurt was like, I can do it. I said, Kurt, are you going to fly over here and do my intra-articular injections of hyaluronic acid? And if that doesn't work, well, then we can always put it in triceps, right? Get some side enhancement. Collagen, peptides, glutamine, creatine, essential amino acids, all the micronutrients, it's all the same. Cold pack therapy twice per day to bring the inflammation down, but most of the inflammation is already gone. So I'll probably continue that for another week. And then once the inflammation and the swelling is gone, then I'll stop with the cold pack therapy. Infrared light therapy, I'm going to continue. That seems to make a big difference. Yeah, seems to make a big difference. What makes more of a difference is the hot bath. Now, ideally, what you want to do for the heat shock proteins is a proper sauna, obviously, but I don't have a sauna in my house, and it would take a while to build a sauna in my house. And to install a bath, which we don't have in this house. We have 4 showers literally in this house, but not a single bath. I just bought a bath, like one of those foldable baths on Amazon, or the Thai equivalent of Amazon. And that was delivered the next day. So it's basically just a plastic bath that you fold, like what you would use for your baby, but human size. So it's about 150 centimeters deep and 70 centimeters wide. So I can barely get my shoulders underneath. If I lift my feet up and then I just turn up the heat to about 42, 44 degrees. So that's what, 108, 112 Fahrenheit. And then I sit in there for 30 minutes, and that's long enough to increase the heat shock proteins as well. And that makes a really big difference. I felt like more recovered every single day. Now, the heat shock proteins just removes all the misfolded proteins. It's basically like garbage disposal of the body. So instead of injecting epitalon for telomere lengthening or using Fox 04 DRI, something like that, you just do the hot bath or the sauna. And I think it's making a huge difference. It increases blood flow, and it helps with, you feel a bit pumped and very vascular, sweating buckets, obviously, afterwards. So I'm doing that once per day, 30 minutes in the afternoon, in between all the peptide injections and the cold pack and the infrared light therapy. And so far, so good. So 2 weeks post-op, I'm walking around. Yeah, it's going well. Still, I have zero fucking mobility. Obviously, there's a lot of scar tissue in that area, and that's kind of binding everything up and all the adhesions and stuff. But I think if I can start rehab tomorrow, then we'll get over that. And then hopefully within a couple of weeks, I'll have 90 degrees range of motion. And then we can go back to the gym again and drive some motorbike. Because sitting at home playing video games, boring. All right, that's pretty much it regarding the updates. Oh, we're already 15 minutes in. Let's get to some questions. But first, you got to do the disclaimer. Where's the disclaimer? Where is it? There it is. All right, let's get started. Mike Honcho, is there a special syringe to administer the Testoviron ampules, or do you just break the top off and use a standard syringe? Yeah, that's what I do. I use an 18 gauge because, again, Testoviron from Bayer or Rotex Medica, that's in castor oil and it's very thick, so I use an 18 gauge to draw, and then I inject it with an insulin syringe, sub-Q. Right now I'm doing sub-Q injections, but when I get back on the groovy cycle train and the DHT inundate is coming in, then it's intramuscular. Yeah, straight into the glutes, intramuscular, testosterone enanthate, DHT enanthate, and hopefully I don't tear my quad again. So yeah, 18 gauge to draw and then 25 gauge to inject, or 31 gauge from the insulin syringe. Works well. Thanks for everything you do for everyone forced to self-administer TRT. Yeah. If you don't want to pay for the service through American Health, or you can't get TRT, then just do it yourself. DIY, man. That's what I did. Where the heck are all the Vigors bros? I don't know. I think they went to Paul Barnett's podcast. They got all their questions in, and then they don't need me today. So maybe I get a day off. That would be nice, though. Fuck, this is so good. I got like 1.5 case left, and then it's back to Gorilla Mind Respawn. Because I don't know, they sent me like 2 cases, dude. And the root beer is great, right? But it's $200 to get it in. And it's very wasteful, honestly. Even though it's very tasty, and I'm very happy that they sent it to me and they reimbursed me the shipping fees. $200 for 1 case? So that's 12 cans, right? 200 divided by 12, $17. Dude, this is $17. You know how much Increlex you can inject? Derek is cringing right now. I didn't know it was that expensive. We are here, Mike. Boldenone deep dive was fascinating. Yeah, I think with a little bit more content production, right? And now he's reading a little bit off the screen. And it's probably his first video, so give him a couple of years of camera time, and then I think we can have a new researcher for and he can always do it again. Like 2 years later, everybody would have forgotten about it. You got some new information, just record it again. I've done videos like 4 times already, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's new content." No, dummy, but your short-term memory is just gone. You'll do it again, and you don't use the search function, so just redo it. To be anabolic, how much IUs of growth hormone do you take with test? Also, blood work, what should IGF-1 levels be? Geez, are you new to this shit? Anything over 1 IU or 2 IUs of growth hormone is anabolic if you're combining it with exogenous steroids. If you take growth hormone just by taking growth hormone and no exogenous steroids, then it's not very anabolic. Otherwise, all those HIV patients would be huge as fuck, but they're not. It just improves their immune system and raises white blood cell count, and that's it. So you need steroids to be synergistic with growth hormone. Based on my coaching experience and a lot of feedback of the bodybuilding community, it seems that there's a lot of synergy between 250 milligrams anabolic androgenic steroids, 250 milligrams anabolic androgenic steroids per week plus 1 IU growth hormone per day. So again, 250 milligrams of test equals 1 IU growth hormone per day. If you go to 2 IUs, 3 IUs, 4 IUs, 5 IUs, do you get more results? Yes. Do you lose some of this ratio synergy? Yes, also. So you get diminishing returns. Now, doesn't mean that you can't combine 250 milligrams of test with 10 IUs of growth hormone. I mean, I'm doing 200 tests right now with 5 IUs of growth hormone, but I'm literally shrinking in front of your eyes. I'm getting smaller, dude. I'm getting smaller. So the growth hormone might help with tendon and connective tissue and surgery recovery, but is it super anabolic? Probably not. So if you want 4 IUs of growth hormone, 1,000 milligrams of test. If you want 10 IUs of growth hormone, 2.5 grams of test or 2.5 grams of steroids. That seems where the best bang for your buck synergy is. Can you use more growth hormone and less steroids? Sure, but from my personal experience, you might get diminishing return and you get a lot of fullness and fat loss, but actual anabolism. And IGF-1, there highly depends, man. Some people have 600, some people have 200, depends on how healthy your liver is and how cooperative it is in IGF-1 production. So if you do your blood work and your IGF-1 levels are low, doesn't mean that your GH is bad, just means that your liver is lazy. Steve, if I use Reta, would I have to stay on it potentially for life because of the rebound effect after stopping it? Yeah. I'm already on TRT Plus, maybe for life would be another add-on. Yeah, I think so. Like, if I come off Reta, the appetite is so ferocious, it's very hard to control. And since you you don't need self-control on Reta, right? You just increase the dose. So you actively remove your self-control and make you weaker. And then by the time you come off Reta, you have zero self-control. You're so fucking weak when it comes to appetite management that you're super ferocious. So normally during a dieting phase, like, you control your appetite and you build up this stamina to control your appetite as the diet progresses because you get more and more hungry, but you just suppress it more and more and more. And probably as a result of that, you get more moody, you have zero libido, and you're very, very unproductive because the whole day you're actively suppressing your appetite with your mental fortitude, your blue collar bodybuilding, and you sacrifice everything else. So you turn into a complete clusterfuck of a human being. And then I'm so hardcore, but your wife has left you because you don't want to fuck her, and you're completely complaining all the time, and you're a fucking piece of shit in the gym to everybody. So it's a bit of a trade-off. Right? You're hardcore, but you're also a piece of shit. Unless you can somehow control your mood, which I couldn't when I was controlling my appetite. Something had to go. Appetite management or mood management can have both unless you add in the Reta and you blunt your appetite and the mood is at an all-time high. So I cannot eat on Reta and be in a good mood. Give or take. Anyway, so yeah, if you take it out, or you either need to slowly phase it out, so you go from 10 milligrams to 8 milligrams to 6 milligrams to 4 milligrams to 2 milligrams to at 1.5 milligrams to 1 milligram, right? You slowly taper that off every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so you can build your appetite management back up. Then maybe there's no rebound. But yeah, most people, if you stop cold turkey, hardcore rebound. And that sucks. My buddy has an AST and LT liver enzymes of 700 and 1500, and gamma GT is 313. Obviously, he needs a doctor ASAP for now. Would you recommend everything for inflammation? No. Go to the doctor, dude. He could be in liver failure. You're not going to add in any drugs. You're going to go to the doctor. And your buddy is, you're not your buddy. It's probably you. Right? Yeah, my buddy has, no, it's you. Matthew, we're talking about you, not your buddy. Go to the doctor now. Now, don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. Do an ultrasound. Do a stool examination. Do additional blood work. See where your bilirubin levels are at, where your inflammatory markers are at, where your creatinine, right? You might have rhabdomyolysis. You need to find out what the root cause is. And we're not going to throw in the kitchen sink of a KPV and low-dose naltrexone or hereditary and BPC. It's not going to fix it. Diagnose it. Look for possible causes. And Joshua says ER or he dies. Right? Don't be an idiot. And I'm not a doctor, so that's what we have doctors for. If I see this on my blood work, I get my results. I'm in the fucking taxi or the car to the hospital. Don't fuck around. You asked this question to Paul already. What are you doing? Do you have any experience prepping athlete with Hashimoto's syndrome? Not that I can remember, but I haven't prepped in years, not since 2019. Any thoughts on using low-dose naltrexone for managing the autoimmune? I have no familiarity with Hashimoto's, and I don't know how low-dose naltrexone works, so I have no idea. Sorry, buddy. We have doctors for this. First time running EQ, 8 weeks in, did labs, everything on point, but hematocrit was 57, hemoglobin was 19. Was on 425 tests, 225 EQ, 150 NPP. Should I drop the EQ altogether and add MAST? The question is, were you hydrated? And that's a more important question you would ask. My hematocrit was 57 on 900 EQ because I was not hydrated. So again, if you're on EQ, due to its erythropoietic effects, you need to be sufficiently hydrated at all times, especially when you go in for blood work. And if you were hydrated, then yes, do a therapeutic phlebotomy. Because that's too high. Yeah, but the platelets, bro. Your platelets are probably in range, but I wouldn't take a risk. So I would do a therapeutic phlebotomy and then get off the EQ if you were hydrated in this context. But it's unlikely you're probably dehydrated. And otherwise, well, telmisartan, methylene blue, enalapril, that can all bring it down. If you're really set on running EQ. I started generic GH from China, 99% purity, wakes me up several times at night at 2 IUs. How can I get good sleep on it? Currently 155 tests, 1 milligram Reta, 2000 IOs HCG, 300 IOs FSH per week. That's a lot of FSH. Yeah, 75 IOs per day. How much is that? 25 times 7. Oh, no, okay. That's fine. 300 divided by 75. 4 times a week. Okay. 500 IOs HCG and 75 IOs FSH 4 times per week. Take it in the morning if it keeps you awake. Take it in the morning. Maybe you get a lot of thyroid conversion from T4 into T3, right? Growth hormone speeds up deiodinase enzyme activity, converting T4 into T3, which can stimulate your heart rate and boost your metabolism and increase your energy level. So if it keeps you awake, take it in the morning. Do some fasted cardio, make yourself tired, and then then by the time you go to bed, your growth hormone is metabolized and you're properly sleepy, and then you can reap all the benefits of growth hormone, HCG, and FSH for your fertility purposes. My internet is crashed out. Thank you for speaking on Molecular Vid. Yeah, my pleasure, dude. A couple of people sent it to me, and then I sat down. I only watched it once, though. I need to watch it again. But I have no interest in using Boldenone right now. Somebody could do a DHT Hereditary deep dive. Well, I'll probably be the one to do it, right? And otherwise, I'll ask Bowtie Biohacking or the other guy. I'm sure they can fill me in. High sensitivity C-reactive protein is high. Last blood work was like 20. I have some injection because absolute neutrophils like 8,000. The blood work before 6 or 7 HCRP trying to figure out what's causing it. Well, could be the inflammatory carrier orals that you're injecting. Could be cancer. Could be high altitude. If you're a frequent flyer. But neutrophils 8,000. What range is that? I don't know. Could be, what is it? The early onset of gluten allergy, right? Yeah, I mean, it's something you're eating or something you're injecting. But I would try to find out the root cause as soon as possible because the CRP over 1 is already shit. You know? My brother from another mother. How great to chat live with you. Ask your questions, bro. Let's get it started. Do you see Bromantane being able to be used daily long term? Maybe as a replacement for modafinil? Not every day, but like 3 times a week. That's kind of where I am. Yeah, until I discovered the ACW or ACD and the KW. Fuck, I don't even know what the abbreviations are. We discussed it last weekend. But yeah, I use it 3 times a week. Yeah, I like it. It's quite stimulatory. I mean, it's a substituted, what is it? Substituted amphetamine. So, comes close. But we don't have access to Adderall here, so this is the best I can get my hands on right now. But yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like Bromantane. Good stuff. Bromantane, dihexa, Bromantane, Noopept, Bromantane, dihexa. You know? Yeah, good shit. When taking CJC without DAC and Ipamorelin, can you go hard cardio long distance 4 to 5 miles? Yes, why not? Yeah, I mean, it's a growth hormone secretagogue. 4 to 5 miles is within the window of growth hormone secretion and the lipolytic effect. So go for it. Steve, on 5AR Society, to say DHT can restore fertility. Is this true? Not from what I've researched, but I haven't really researched the DHT exogenous because the scientific evidence is paper thin. As far as I know, you need normal endogenous hormone production for fertility to be good, albeit that Proviron and Halotestin were shown to have fertility-enhancing benefits for men who are subfertile or infertile even. Many a pregnancy has occurred in the 60s, 70s, and 80s on Proviron and Halotestin, so DHT would be okay as well. Now, if you're androgen deficient and you inject DHT, can it restore fertility? I'm not sure. Do a deep dive. Is injectable Anavor begging to be put The injectable Anavor is begging to be put to use, Steve. When is it coming? I don't know. When I can go to the gym again. I got it literally here. Injectable Anavor was not oil-based, by the way. It was water-based. So I thought it was oil-based when I got it, and then I opened it up, and it was white and in water. So I asked the guys at Billy Gus. I said, hey, I thought it was an MCT oil. We made a mistake. Guys, I'd slap them around a little bit. Too many mistakes on their parts, but they're at least trying to rectify it. But, yeah. So the Anavor is here, but when do I have a chance to use it? I don't know. When I can go back to the gym. Like, if you're not going to the gym, you're not training hard or not training at all, what's the point of running all these drugs, you know? I don't do the TikTok challenge, and I'm going to run XXX milligrams of tren and not go to the gym and see what happens. So TRT is all I can afford if I'm not training. First, I got to get my mobility back. Looking at Disguised Alpha SLU offering, what's the benefit of injectable SLU and Miquelol and the comparable dose of oral route? So apparently, it's more bioavailable if you inject it, but I ran the injectable SLU at 7.5 milligrams, and I did 750 micrograms, and I honestly can't tell the difference. 400 milligrams, you can tell the difference, but anything over 1 milligram to 400 milligrams, it seems to be working, and it increases my body temperature. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to go with the injectable SLU, then they have an option. The Omega Minerals also has an injectable SLU as an option. So give them a try, see how you notice the difference. I'll add in the oral SLU in next week because I do want to stay a little bit leaner and getting a little bit leaner now, but it's difficult when you're not doing cardio. I'm eating 3 meals per day and 2 or 3 shakes. So my goal is now just recovery. But yeah. Give it a try and see how you feel compared to oral SLU. A lot of people swear by it. I think it's fine either orally or injectably. You know, my biggest gripe is that with injectable they need to use some solvents. And Miquelol it doesn't cause any inflammation in some people. I haven't done any blood work on it. I just didn't get any. At 1 milliliter, I did get some post-injection pain, but at 0.13 milliliters, that was like 1 milligram. I did, or 0.4, 0.1415 was like 1 milligram. I didn't get any post-injection pain or lumping and bumping. So, you know, yeah, it depends on what you want. I got a boatload of powder here still, so I'll run that and just eyeball it. How many milligrams a week of total steroids do you find is your personal sweet spot where you get the best bang for your buck with getting huge and not cooking your health? About a gram. Yeah, about a gram. Yeah. About a gram of test, maybe a little bit of Primo on top, or 700 tests, 350 Primo, something like that. And then a boatload of food, because you need food to grow. Will you be lean? Nope. Will you be watery? Yes. But it is what it is. And if you want to get huge with less food and stay lean or get leaner, then you need more gear. Yeah, but pro this and that is using less gear during prep. They're just maintaining. I just need to maintain, bro. And then they go from like 3 grams a test to 1 gram a test and 700 tren. It's less milligrams, but it's probably more pressure. I'm using less milligrams, bro. Show me your blood work, you fucking asshole. Let's see if your blood work is better also during prep. Ah, these guys. Do you see the blood work of Mitchell Hooper leading into the enhanced games? Fuck, man. That's like the most incomplete blood work I've ever seen. Jesus Christ. The KW is strong, so this is the adenosine receptor blocker. That's similar to caffeine with a very long half-life. I take 1 milligram. Yeah, so the Disguised Alpha has 5 milligrams, or that's what they send me. And I take like 1 milligram or maybe a little bit more, 1.25 milligrams, because I have the droppers. I already told them to get a tablet pressure, so that's in the works. I don't literally like droppers and liquids, but hey, sometimes that's all you can get your hands on. If you want to get ahead of the curve and get your hands dirty, then that's what I'm going to use. So I use the dropper and then 0.25 milliliters, so that's 1.25 milligrams, give or take. Maybe use a little bit more, a little bit less. Yeah, today I didn't use it, but you can't use everything every day. Are you still in Thailand? Yeah, man. I am still in Thailand. I don't know where else to live. Dubai is nice, but hey, close to Iran. Might get some missiles shot up your ass. Thanks, Steve. Regarding EQ, I was certainly hydrated, drinking 1.5 gallons per day on 40 milligrams of telmisartan. How many milligrams of methylene blue daily to add? From 25 milligrams per day, you see an active reduction in your hematocrit. And maybe you should switch the 40 milligrams telmisartan to 2.5 milligrams enalapril. That is more potent to bring your hematocrit down. And then again, the hemoglobin will need to metabolize into bilirubin to get out of your body. So basically what these, like telmisartan, methylene blue, and enalapril at a certain dose, they prevent the overproduction and the management of complete blood count. And but whatever is high now, that needs to be brought down through a therapeutic phlebotomy. Now, hemoglobin will metabolize into bilirubin reasonably fast, but a complete blood count, if it's elevated, hematocrit is elevated, then it takes 90 days to 100 days before that comes down. So I would actively remove that with a therapeutic phlebotomy. Anabolic RX. All right, is there a question with that? Here. Minimum effective dose of Tesamorelin, 2 grams per day is FDA-approved dose. You mean 2 milligrams? I think Tesamorelin, 2 milligrams is where the sweet spot. That's where the scientific evidence shows that it removes visceral fat. So yeah, I would do 1 milligram to 2 milligrams. Tesamorelin before bed, ideally combined, with the CJC or ipamorelin. And then you get the maximum amount of growth hormone secretion. Yeah. Then again, I prefer real growth hormone. Also, on DHT annotate, on pouring through Bowtie Biohacker's writing, I was wondering how long a 250 milligrams testosterone annotate and 50 milligrams DHT annotate weekly stack would be run safely. Looks like a little can go a long way. Yeah, so based on this research, I would say that you can run that for multiple weeks. And then as the dose goes up, you might upregulate 5-alpha reductase enzyme activity, convert more and more and more of your own testosterone into DHT, and then you get more and more and more of this glucocorticoid receptor inhibition, the reduction of glucocorticoid production through the inhibition of the enzymatic reactions and the inhibition of aromatase enzyme, reducing your estrogen levels further, and the anti-estrogenic effects at the receptor and the DNA transcription site. So the higher the dose of DHT, the more estrogen and cortisol inhibiting effects on the production and receptor activity, and that shortens your duration. So I wanted to run 350 milligrams and see what would happen after 4 weeks, but after 1 week into it, even though my body composition was already improving, I tore my quad and I had to discontinue, which sucks. But at one point, I'll add it back in, and then we'll happily continue that experiment. So for all of the guys that are running it right now, I know I saw a lot of affiliate sales go through 5AR. For all of the guys who are running DHT annotate, let us know how it's going so far, because unfortunately I cannot get my hands dirty. So it's up to you this time to do the before and after blood work. I finally got my DHT levels back. So on 300 tests, my serum estradiol or serum testosterone, let me whip it up real quick before I had to discontinue. Where's my blood work? Documents, medical records. Took them like 3.5 weeks to send it over. So my testosterone was 2,500. My estradiol was 25.8. And my DHT, so that's very low for not using an aromatase inhibitor. And my DHT is a little bit on the low side comparatively, so it's 110 nanograms per deciliter. So last time it was 170, and now it's 110 on 1 ampule of testosterone per week. But my estradiol is also lower, so it seems that I might have less 5-alpha reductase activity and aromatase enzyme activity after running 10 IUs of growth hormone for a long time. And it seems that some people, they get reduced at least aromatase enzyme activity when they've been on growth hormone for longer times. Like when Chase was running like 5 grams a test and 18 IUs of serostim per day, 5 grams a test per week, and 18 IUs of serostim per day, his estradiol levels were super low also. So, anecdotally, there's no scientific evidence to back this up, but if you run higher dosages of growth hormone for longer periods of time, and you've had lower body fat levels, like sub 8%, sub 6%, at one point or another, it seems that your aromatase enzyme activity is kind of downregulated. and you get less conversion. And again, maybe because I did the liposuction on my lower chest, I removed all of the fat cells there, where a lot of aromatization could potentially manifest as well. But I guess we'll never know. Lauren, Steve, have you heard my... I've heard people talk about this. I can't find any scientific evidence about it. So I think this is a fluke, guys. Yeah, it's more potent and not increase hunger. Where's the CAS number? I don't think MK-777 is a real thing like bioglutide. Look for scientific evidence. There's nothing in the scientific evidence about MK-777. MK-677, yes. Ibutamoren, yes. I think this is just a sales tactic, same as bioglutide. And at least bioglutide had 2 fake studies behind it, or 3 fake studies. But MK-7777, can't find shit. So find me a citation, Lauren, and I'll look at it. Until that time, stick to growth hormone. Hey, Steve, how important is HCl independently of other lipid markers? My ApoB, LDL, hemoglobin A1C, and triglycerides are all fine, but HCl remains low. I'm not on PEDs. My doctor suspects it's hereditary. Yeah, it could be. Like if you have high hormone-sensitive lipase breaking down your HCl molecules in the liver, and again, to put it simply, HCl transports triglycerides and cholesterol from the tissue to the liver, and LDL brings it away from the liver. So if you're not on steroids, your like systemic production of cholesterol and triglycerides is low. So your LDL is low. You don't need a lot of transport from the liver to other tissues, and the other tissues can absorb it locally. So you don't need a lot of LDL. But the other tissues might also produce low triglycerides, low cholesterol. And then there's low requirement for HCl to bring that back to the liver. And you can detoxify easily because the liver doesn't have that much cholesterol and triglycerides itself. So go on a ketogenic diet, see if it comes up. Take fish oil, see if it comes up. Citrus bergamot, amla extract, daily fasted cardio. It's low. And if it's hereditary, ask your parents to do an HCl test. But HCl being low doesn't mean you're unhealthy. LDL being high could be unhealthy. I don't think there's any scientific evidence that shows that HDL with healthy other markers is unhealthy for you, because the problem with lipids is that LDL, lipoprotein A, inflammation, high calcium in your blood, that is what forms plaque. Low HDL is not something that contributes to plaque buildup. So it's just an indication of what's going on. Are you at risk if you have low HDL for plaque buildup from the HDL molecule? No. High LDL, yes. So I wouldn't worry about it. And some people just have it hereditary. Like my wife has high HDL and high LDL hereditary. So she would need to take some medication to bring that down. But then there's no cardiovascular disease in her family. And her family members are just like mine. They live a normal life. They eat their sugars and their high saturated fats, and and their blood work isn't perfect. My family members are a little bit more alcoholic than hers, but she's a little bit more chunky on her side. But no cardiovascular disease in her family at all, even though they don't look particularly healthy. When you look at their blood work, yeah. So just because it's hereditarily off doesn't mean you're more susceptible to cardiovascular disease. Like my mom has cardiovascular disease. I got to be careful. But my mom treated her health like shit. So what do you think is going to happen? If for high sensitivity C-reactive protein to figure out if something injecting is causing it, how long would I wait before blood work? So you stop all injections 1 week, and then it should be down significantly. Take test, Primo, HCG, growth hormone, MOTC. I would take it all out for a week, but it's very likely that it's the synthetic carrier oils of Test and Primo. And if you don't know, just go to the lab. If they don't mention which carrier oils they use, then it's likely they use ethyl oleate or polyethylene glycol, something like that, or guaiacol. You would smell that, or DMSO. It could be inflammatory in some people. Migliol, inflammatory in some people. And the HCG growth hormone and MOTC is water-based, so it's unlikely that's causing it. So take the test and Primo out for 7 to 10 days. Go check it again. And and to see if you need to make further adjustment. Are you interested in the podcast scene at all? I watch sometimes. I watch Fouad Abiad's usually the beginning. When they're just shooting shit and talking about fun stuff. Under the bodybuilding analysis, I don't really care. I can do my own bodybuilding analysis. When they discuss the show. But yeah, if they talk about motorbikes, absolutely, man. And then I shoot, shoot info your message and say, hey, what's the scoop? Tell me more. Let's see. But yeah, podcasts. I follow the cryptocurrency news. There's usually live streams. If Joe Rogan has an interesting guest, I'll watch that. If there's something interesting, then I'll watch it. Currently taking 210 milligrams of doctor-prescribed testosterone cypionate, taking 10 milligrams daily. Test just came back at 900 to 6 nanograms per deciliter. Seems low. SHBG only 11.6. Should I be concerned about the SHBG? Well, with daily microinjections, your SHBG is going to be lower because you get less conversion of testosterone into estradiol and more of a daily influx of androgens, even though you would think with Test-Cyp, enanthate, etc., that it doesn't really matter, but it does. So, I want to hear, but Derek Moore Placemore Date said that if you inject every single day, that SHBG will be higher. We fundamentally disagree. I mentioned it to him right when he released that video. But right, do your blood work and see who's right. Right, that's one of the things that I don't agree with Derek, and I'm sure there's things that he doesn't agree with what I released over the years, which is fine. So if you want to have higher SHBG and perhaps higher estradiol and perhaps higher testosterone, less frequent injections might bring your levels up higher because you get more of a peak and valley, more conversion, and thus more SHBG and less of an influx every single day. Now, what Kurt found out due to the structure of the cypionate ester and other esters which are cyclical, it might not cleave off at an efficient rate. It might be a rate-limiting effect on the enzyme, where cypionate and phenylpropionate might not reach super high serum levels compared to something like propionate or enanthate, for example, or hexahydrobenzocarbonate that's also cyclical. So maybe if you switch to 210 milligrams of testosterone enanthate, your serum levels will be higher, 1,500. Like my levels on 200 test enanthate with 2 injections per week, 2 days after the injections, 1,500 nanograms per deciliter, and 2,500 nanograms per deciliter on 300 milligrams. So that's pretty comparable. So yeah, it may be individual response. It may be due to your daily injections. It may be that you're converting a lot into down testosterone, but you didn't check your estrogen and your DHT levels. So we don't know. And it could be that a lot of DHT is being converted, which suppresses your aromatization, which is then suppresses your SHBG. So high DHT, low estradiol, and a frequent influx of testosterone means low SHBG. Could also mean that you're eating a boatload of carbs, and you need to go to a ketogenic diet to bring your SHBG up. Right? Insulin and growth hormone also have an effect on SHBG. Maybe your thyroid levels are low, and that also has an effect on your SHBG. So again, you give me one marker, but the total picture is lacking. So I hope I gave you some insight into what you can do. Would taking growth hormone be a problem with food intake since it takes several hours for peak? No. If you live the lifestyle, it's not an issue, man. Just go live your lifestyle. Don't worry. We're not going to answer this in depth every single week. Is there anything I can substitute for alcohol that would give me similar effects without the negative on bodybuilding? In college, and everybody drinks around me, and I want to avoid it. Find new friends. If you're in college, what are you going to do? Take GHB? I mean, I took fucking GHB and MDMA and cocaine and LSD and mushrooms, all that shit I took in college. But I didn't really, I hang out with the party crowds, not the alcoholics. I mean, I like my alcohol here and there. Or go on Hereditary, man. I barely feel the need to drink or take drugs when I'm on Hereditary. TRT and Hereditary, especially higher dosages. I might still occasionally dabble with a little bit of alcohol. Or, well, you figure it out. Mortal Kombat 2 was very enjoyable. Great movie, dude. But find different friends that have other vices. Maybe they take steroids. You all go to the gym together and lift weights and talk about steroids. It's probably a better community to be a part of than the alcohol community, because all the people that I know that are still drinking in their 40s like frequently, oh man, they look like trash. Steve, do you recommend MK-677 to underweight? Underweight what? Just eat, bro. Just fucking eat. I want something more for social interactions like alcohol. Yeah, I don't know. GHB, if you can't be social, or take the ACD-536. I mean, it's a 5-HT2A receptor agonist, and if you read the Reddit reports, then you see that people are a lot more social as well. There's a long half-life dose, so you don't need to dose it at the party. But yeah, I was in a pretty good mood at 10 milligrams per day. Yeah, good shit. Steve, have you used a continuous glucose monitor before, and where do lean guys place them for accurate readings without the needle going too deep? I never used it. So I don't know. I know Chase used it in the past. So ask on his live stream, and then see how that goes. See what he says. Somebody just bought the Pro-Vigorous blend. Hey man, if I say so, it's funny. Right? Last week we discussed about putting your life's work online. And I discussed that I did it, but I no longer coach, and that Paul Burnett also did it, and he's still coaching. And then he got 5 clients. He's like, thanks so much for the shout out. I got 5 clients last weekend. So I told him, you owe me a beer. But yeah, if I say something that it's not intentional, right? But that's what influencing is. I talk about the Pro-Vigorous blend, and people are going to buy it. Let me have a look at the affiliate dashboard. Let's see. Like we talked about ATX 304, right? And then you had a lot of sales at Disguised Alpha also. Let me have a look at the affiliate dashboard. Loading. Come on. Show me what's going on. Jeez, we gotta fix the back end, bro. It's still loading. Well, we'll have a look later. Quark is the most you need. Quark has a lot of protein. Yes, low price, $1 for 50 grams of protein. Well, shit, it's not loading, bro. System is overloaded. Or we're talking about Quark from Deep Space Nine. I remember you said 500 IOs HCG 3 times a week. While on test, would HCG help the secretion loads? It just seems to be low in fluids. If 500 IOs is not enough, how much should I increase? Now, I think 500 IOs is enough to increase your semen volume, but FSH 75 IOs 3 times per week is better. So if you want like milliliters, then add in the FSH. And if you want more milliliters, abstain. On 500 IOs HCG and 75 IOs FSH, each 3 times per week, I think you should be able to produce 1 milliliter of semen per day, which if you want like a mother load of 4 to 5 cc's, where it's like shot after shot after shot, and the girl's like, I don't know where to put it. Swallow, bitch. And his whole mouth is full of foaming at the mouth stuff. Yeah, you need 4 to 5 days to kind of abstain. So if you're jerking every single day or coming every single day, then don't expect more than a milliliter and a half, man. It's just cream pie. She doesn't know. Yeah, but if you want to glaze, then abstain for a couple days, If you want to glaze, you gotta abstain. All right, let's have a look at the. All right, we got a few sales. Anne is the one who bought it. Nice work, bro. Thanks so much for the support. He bought 2 bottles. And then some guy bought the entire mitochondrial support stack. Anthony. It's been $1,600, Anthony. Holy shit. Nice work. High SLU, 20 milligram capsules. Oh, nice. People are spending money. Good stuff. Get those discounts. Hey, Steve, I remember you once said Astaxanthin does not work. What made you conclude that? I took it. I did the research. I took it. Did not do shit. It seems like a powerful antioxidant. Yeah, but I take so many antioxidants. I take injectable glutathione. I take vitamin C, injectable. Thanks, disguised alpha. I take the injectable taurine. Thank you, disguised alpha. It comes in a single blend, by the way. I take a vitamin E. My estradiol is as high as it can be. Also acts as an antioxidant. I take ubiquinol. Sometimes it looks good on paper, but you add it in the bigger picture, it either does very little or it does nothing at all. So an antioxidant, I take methylene blue, right? Methylene blue is like methylene blue, melatonin, and injectable glutathione. Beyond that, what more do you need? And it's melatonin and methylene blue is so fucking cheap. It's so fucking, why do you need astaxanthin? Astaxanthin, you know? It's I think it's a waste of money, and we waste enough money as it is. Youngie are as in less than what? All right. 150 tests, 1500 IOs, HCG put me at 1250 nanograms per deciliter. Okay, seems about right. Free test is 63, SHBG 24, still TRT plus or too high in the long term. Bloodwork markers are all fine. I would say this is fine, dude. I would say this is totally fine. Yeah, testosterone could be a little bit higher, but maybe you're converting a bit more into estradiol. You could bring it up higher with an aromatase inhibitor or methods to bring aromatase enzyme activity down. But I would say that this is good, man. I would keep it there until you get bored, which is probably when you're 70. If your blood workers are fine, and oh, my testosterone is out of range. Straight to jail. What are your thoughts on SS31 for healing fibrosis? I've seen 40 milligrams per day going around. Yeah, so that's the dose in the scientific literature for several medical conditions. I don't have fibrosis. I can't discuss on this, but based on the scientific evidence, the medical dose is 40 milligrams per day. Also, do you have knowledge of B733 peptide? I ran 4 vials, 10 milligrams, 1 milligram a day. Didn't notice anything. No, never heard of that. So, but again, there's so many peptides out there right now. I can't keep track of them all. I would say that SS31, based on my research, and again, I haven't done the research, the deep dive yet, but it's in the making. The script is there. Just my camera broke, and this camera that I'm using, I don't want to use for videos because the color is all fucked. And then my editor spends like 3 days just fixing the color. So when I get my camera back, we'll do the deep dive. But I would say that SS31, based on my research, could be very preventative for a lot of the issues that come along with steroids. So to protect your kidneys from steroids, from Boldenone or Trenbolone, I think SS31 at 2 milligrams to 5 milligrams daily can be protective. Can it reverse some of the damage? Maybe not. But since a lot of the kidney damage is either stemming from low estrogen or oxidative stress on the mitochondria, I think for the latter, since SS31 predominantly accumulates in the kidneys, in the mitochondria there, and helps with the mitochondrial membrane function, I would say that SS31, before you start Boldenone or Trenbolone or anything that raises your kidney markers or might potentiate oxidative stress in the kidneys, and whether that's from estradiol reduction, obviously, keeping your estrogen in range would also be beneficial. I think SS31 can be a preventative medicine for a lot of bodybuilders. Yeah, but just wait until the deep dive drops, and you'll get it. When is that? I don't know. It's done when it's done. Steve, do you have any suggestions for leaky gut? Upon waking, poop hurts, feels stuck, then diarrhea, normal poop. Try KPV oral sub-Q. You got to figure out what is causing the leaky gut. So before you throw the peptides at it, figure out which food sources are kind of fucking with your intestinal membrane and making the permeability, fucked up. So maybe you have a lot of inflammation. Maybe the food sources that you're eating are not good. Maybe you need more fiber. Maybe you need some TUDCA, some ox bile. Maybe you need to fast for a couple days, bring the inflammation down. But I had all these oral stuff that only works if you're also doing the elimination diet and removing all of the causes of the leaky gut. And again, it's not going to fix it if you continue adding in the cause, which could be gluten or not enough fiber or that kind of stuff. So Yeah. Let's see. Hematocrit 53%, 7 months after lowering testosterone from 120 milligrams per week to 84. Jesus. Daily sub-Q on a CPAP, non-smoker, now 72 per week. How can I lower hematocrit? Again, hydration. 54 is not the end of the world if you're hydrated, but 57 is a little bit high. Both hematocrit were eating hydrated. When you say hydrated, is that like 1 liter of water, 500 milliliters, 2 liters? Right? It's different levels of hydration. Doing my daily cardio, feel like shit. You feel like shit on daily fasted cardio with a hematocrit of 52.7%. I think you feel like shit because you're taking 72 milligrams of testosterone per week. 2.5 milligrams enalapril, 40 milligrams telmisartan, 25 milligrams methylene blue, and maybe 10 milligrams methylene blue. Each separately could manage your hematocrit and your complete blood count. If it's not enough, you might need to increase the dose. But yeah, 72 milligrams testosterone per week and your hematocrit is that high. Maybe you have a lot of erythropoiesis. So again, 2.5 milligrams enalapril, start there, or 40 milligrams telmisartan, start there, or 10 milligrams methylene blue. If your blood work or your blood pressure is in range currently, then I would look into methylene blue. And if your blood pressure is not in range, then I would look into 2.5 milligrams to 5 milligrams enalapril. That will bring your hematocrit down really, really fast. Steve, wanted to ask you if you believe you can use steroids with a lipoprotein A result of 220 nanomoles per liter. High risk is 125. So based on my research and my personal blood work, lipoprotein A comes down from testosterone and ezetimibe. So maybe by going on TRT and taking 10 milligrams ezetimibe daily, you bring your lipoprotein A down to below the risk level. Worth looking into. Scientific evidence to support it. 10 weeks out from weight loss transformation show, 40 milligrams testosterone cypionate, 20 milligrams primo daily. Total testosterone 1600, okay. Free T 500, SHBG 8. Yeah, and primo, that's going to happen. Estradiol 31. Any benefits, downsides to adding masteron? Currently feel great. Joints, mood, libido. If you want to be a little bit drier, will you be muscular? Probably not. On these dosages, probably not. If you want more fat loss, you're going to get more fat loss by adding in the mitochondrial support stack or growth hormone or clenbuterol or retatrutide or another GLP-1 receptor agonist. Masteron will purely be cosmetic. If you add in 20 milligrams to 30 milligrams daily, you'll look leaner. You won't lose any fat. You might lose some weight because your water retention levels go down. But if you want actual weight loss, fat loss, I'm assuming, then a fat burner or an appetite suppression medication or both is going to bring you further. Let's scroll down a little bit. Can we mitigate dopamine receptor downregulation on train? Is there a way to prevent amyloid 42 amyloid plaque buildup? Yes, taking melatonin. Melatonin clears up amyloid plaque. Any other drugs for brain damage with train? I don't use train. Melatonin at a high dose, 3 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 30 milligrams, 100 milligrams, prevents oxidative stress in the brain and removes amyloid plaque or the amyloid beta, molecules from the brain. And dopamine receptor downregulation, is there any scientific evidence to build that to show that? I think most people get a dopamine boost from Trenbolone, and then they take the Trenbolone out, they get a dopamine downregulation. Is that the receptor or dopamine production? I'm not entirely sure. But I never had an issue with dopamine levels on Trenbolone, man. And otherwise, take some L-tyrosine. Or don't take so much strain. 600 tests, 400 EQ for 6 weeks. GT got down to 12% from 25% body weight. Currently 86 kilograms. Thinking of starting a growth phase after 2 more weeks. Any dose increase suggestions? Also wanted to add an Anavar. I will increase in carbs by 50 grams. Not just increase the food. You can actually reduce the dose at this body weight on 1200 milligrams per week. If you're happy with your body fat levels, or you get down to 10%, for example, or 11%, 2 weeks from now, just increase the food. And you can actually lower the drugs, because I think you need to eat more food at 86 kilograms than you're doing now, and just increase it by 10% increment. So you go from 2,000 calories to 2,200 for 2 to 3 weeks, and 2,500 for 2 to 3 weeks. And then as every time you stall, you increase the food. And at one point you can bring the drugs down. Will you need Anavar? No. If you want to stay, you want better pumps, you want to look cosmetically different, then you add the Anavar in. But do you need it to grow? No. If you get from 25% to 12% in 6 weeks, then you're definitely under eating. And it's good to get your body fat levels down, obviously. But at one point you need to increase the food to increase your size. And for that, you need to increase your calories by 10% multiple times. I don't think you can probably reduce the drugs. So you're saying that SS31 could be preventing a measure of PD side effects, but not for reversing conditions. Look up B733 and E4 PEP. I'm looking for healing and reversing, and SS31 seems like it. Yes, so it depends on the dose. And again, SS31 has not been studied in the context of steroids. I'm just speculating here based on the beneficial effects of SS31, right? On the scientific evidence, it has overlapping benefits of the negative effects that steroids might cause. Is that at 40 milligrams or 5 milligrams or 2 milligrams? We don't know. The only person I really saw that improved their blood work parameters, particularly kidney function, was Ben Chow, using SS31 in the full mitochondrial support stack the last time he did a prep, I think it's been a year, where he got really in shape, where his blood work parameters actually improved, but he also did a cycle and used the mitochondrial peptides to kind of help with the fat loss and obviously kidney function. So I just speculate that it could be preventative of the negative effects that steroids might potentiate. But if you're reversing a condition, maybe. I mean, when it comes to kidney health, it hasn't really been studied. And the reversing condition dose in the context of where it was shown to be beneficial, and not every condition it was shown to be beneficial, the dose was 40 milligrams per day. Good luck finding 40 milligrams vials on the gray area peptide websites. It's all 10 milligrams. I check the carrier oil. I use Pharmaco, and it's MCT oil that shouldn't raise. So Pharmaco, unfortunately, has a couple blends with guaiacol. That's why I didn't index them in the source list. So double check for that. And if that's not the cause, if it's just a regular concentration Pharmaco and MCT oil doesn't use guaiacol, then yeah, it could be a food allergy or some underlying condition that you need to address. So see if there's any food issues that you have, digestive issues, or stop injecting, and maybe it's still an issue. Based on my research, when I redid the Hertzberger bioassays and compared all the scientific data together, the lowest functional train dose based on body weight for a 100 kilogram individual was 25 milligrams per week. That's where I started. And that's where you get the maximum glucocorticoid receptor inhibition already. And I think, or maybe it's even lower, but it's somewhere in the Trenbolone deep dive. I think at 25 milligrams per week, you get the best anabolic to androgenic dissociation, so only anabolic effects. And I think the anti-catabolic, so the glucocorticoid receptor inhibition, I think that already occurred at much lower dosages. But I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you go through the Trenbolone deep dive, it's all mentioned there based on body weight and how I came to those conclusions with the the animal data extrapolated to the human equivalent dose based on body weight. Cheesecake Fund, hell yeah. Too bad I can't really cheat now because I don't do any activity, so I can't really eat anything. I had like half a, I went to Mortal Kombat 2, right? So we shared a popcorn from Garrett's, but this big, and I have it half. That's all I could stomach. I don't want to get fat. I was on a good track to stay lean, I'll get a separation, bro. Look at this fucking indentation. I want to keep that. But so no cheesecake this weekend, unfortunately. Thoughts on low dose train, like between 40 to 60 milligrams train ACE per week, 20 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday to counter crazy hit classes. More so hybrid athlete than... Dude, at 25 milligrams per week, I already got a bronchoconstriction and inhibition of my stamina. So if you care about stamina, take the train out. Unless you take it with cardrine and myoinositol tripyrophosphate. Excuse me, man. I could say something about this root beer, but it does give me a little bit of a burp here and there. So maybe next time I'll take Grillamide Respawn to prevent the burps and the hiccups. Anyway, it tastes like great though. So if you're a hybrid athlete and you want to do crazy hit and have stamina, Trenbolone is not for you. Look into cardrine, look into myoinositol tripyrophosphate, look into DADA, whatever, diisochloro, blah, 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 blah. Right? That will give you stamina, but Trenbolone is the last thing in the stamina stack. And otherwise, type in stamina in the search function, and you'll get plenty of videos. You'll be surprised. If somebody has elevated lipoprotein level A, what would you suggest they do in order to mitigate the risk? I've heard that testosterone and estrogen can actually lower it. Diet and exercise doesn't touch it. Yeah, ezetimibe lowers it. And again, keep your LDL in range, minimize oxidative stress, make sure you don't have high sensitivity C-reactive protein elevated, because, well, to form plaque, you need high calcium in the blood, you need high inflammation, or alcohol that actually damage the insides of your arteries. So if you want to damage the inside of your arteries, high sensitivity C-reactive protein elevated, alcohol, and inflammation. If your inflammation is low, you barely drink alcohol, and your high sensitivity C-reactive protein is 0.5 to 1 milligram per liter at most, you don't have to worry if lipoprotein level A is slightly elevated. And again, testosterone, maybe estradiol, I'm not sure about that, but testosterone for sure, and ezetimibe will bring that down. And I think, like, even if your LDL is a little bit elevated and your lipoprotein level A is a little bit elevated, and your lipids are a little bit skewed, if your inflammatory markers are low and the calcium that you get from your food, it keeps your serum calcium levels in range, and you take vitamin D3 and vitamin K to help shuttle that calcium into bones or metabolically active tissue like your skeletal muscle, for example, and you take it out of the blood, then I think you're not really at risk, man. I think in order to get cardiovascular disease, you really need to abuse yourself. If you're not abusing yourself and you keep your lipids managed, I think you're fine. Yeah, but my grandma had... Okay, well, then you're at risk. And then you shouldn't fuck around. Like, I'm at risk. I shouldn't fuck around. My CAC score is 0. It's better than my mom did at her age, this age. But I don't smoke like a fucking retard, and I don't drink like a retard. Right? The cardiovascular disease is self-induced. I recently quit smoking. Any specific antioxidants or peptides you recommend for damage reversal? You mentioned SS31. Yeah, so there's 2 studies that show that SS31, I forgot the dose, but at least SS31 prevents the oxidative stress in the mouth and in the lungs from smoking acutely. So you combine smoking with SS31, it prevents the oxidative stress. Will it reverse the oxidative stress after years of smoking? Not entirely sure. I know every time I smoke a cigar right now, I take a whole vial of SS31 to prevent the oxidative stress in my mouth. So yeah, if you recently quit smoking, just get on to the lifestyle and maybe consider 2 milligrams to 5 milligrams SS31 and a mitochondrial support stack and glutathione or N-acetylcysteine, perhaps with glycine, or combined NAC with collagen peptides, right? That has glycine too, for more glutathione production. And just live healthy, man. Again, reversing, suddenly you want to become healthy? I smoked for 50 years and I want to undo the damage in a week. It's not how it works, man. If you abuse your body for long periods of time, it might take equal amount of time to undo it. So, live the lifestyle, daily fasted cardio, go to the gym, eat healthy, minimize oxidative stress. And if you do subject yourself to oxidative stress, don't smoke. It's fucking lame. It's fucking, go smoke a cigar. You know? Don't drink wine every day. Go have like a couple whiskeys once for your birthday. You know, make it epic. If you're going to destroy your body, make it epic. Go to a party. Take your MDMA and amphetamines and whatever. Make sure you have a good time for 12 hours, and then you're good for the next 6 months. But it's smoking every day, drinking alcohol every day, like a little bit of damage every single day. It's fucking lame. It's fucking pathetic. You know, at least when I was party smoking, I smoked when I was partying and taking the MDMA and having a blast and fucking dancing all night, you know, losing 5 pounds because you couldn't eat. And then I was good for the next couple of months. You know, I did the damage in between because I still went to the gym and I still cooked my food and I still ate healthy and I still did my daily fasted cardio. So by the next time I went out for a mega party, my body was ready. And I could dance for 12 hours straight, baby. And whether that was on the beach parties, imagine like a festival, 12 hours on the beach, and everybody, after walking in the sand, everybody's fucking tired, right? Not me, dude. I was doing the ring dance all the way until midnight. Oh, yeah, good times. Steven, all right, is there a question with that? I don't see it. All right, next one. Thanks for the super chat. Hydrated as in blood draw 2 hours after waking, drinking 2 liters of water before I get there. Feel like shit. My dose is so low. Is it okay to stay around 53? I stay around 52, 53. Yeah. Hematocrit just climbs to 55 when I'm doing 120 milligrams. Yeah, so you need an enalapril or telmisartan or methylene blue at a high dose. To bring that in range, if you're already doing the daily fasted cardio, you have the CPAP. You just produce more red blood cells on your testosterone dose. And on a low testosterone dose of 70 milligrams a week, I would feel like shit too. So you would need to go to an enalapril 2.5 to 5 milligrams and increase the testosterone. And maybe do the occasional therapeutic blood donation. It sucks, but that might be required. Thanks for the super chat. Oh, here it is. Started to stack growth hormone 4 use nightly with Masteron, 280 milligrams per week. Daily, and testosterone, 350 milligrams per week. Two injections, Anavard, 25 minutes. Any thoughts? I don't know. What does your blood work say, dude? How can I have thoughts about your cycle if I don't know what the results are, whether that's in the gym or... that's fine with me, man. If it works, it works. Thoughts? I think you're fucking stupid for not telling me what your blood work results are or what your results are in the gym. Those are my thoughts. You want my honest answer? I think your question is fucking stupid. No excuses doctrine. It's incomplete. What do you think about this car? How fast does it go? How many horsepower? It's red. Motherfucker. Damn it, man. I want to choke you through the screen. Running 200 or running 425 tests, 250 EQ, 150 MPP. Total test was 1700. Seems low. SHBG 19, still pending free T. I thought based on this amount, it seemed low T for total testosterone. Yeah, get better sources, bro. I send people in the right direction, and it shouldn't be this low. How does injectable anadrol bilaterally pre-workout work? It works very well. It works very, very well. Will you get some post-injection pain? Sure. Will you get a legendary pump and lower liver enzymes compared to taking it sublingually or orally? Absolutely. Will it not suppress your appetite like with oral anadrol? Absolutely. So it works very well. Go give it a try and let us know. Welcome to the Vigorous crew. Just wanted to give Steve money for no reason. Thanks for a simple perspective about finding new friends from drinking so much. Yeah, see, so instead of finding drinking buddies, find buddies to go motorcycle riding with. That's dangerous also, but it's at least it doesn't. Okay, if you crash, you're fucked, right? But you can have so much good time, or find people that you want to go to the cigar lounge to. You have a cigar and 1 or 2 whiskeys. You discuss business. That's what I do with my friends. Maybe Monday or something, I'll go out with a buddy of mine, and we'll have a cigar. I'll take my SS31. Obviously, I probably won't drink because I'm still recovering from the surgery, right? But a cigar is okay, and you discuss business and life, instead of just fucking hammering the alcohol. And maybe you're at the age where you only have friends where you hammer the alcohol. And I had a blast doing that as well. But yeah, drinking so much every single day, no, man. Yeah, no way. I guess I got to go pee. Don't laugh at me. I'm a little bit crippled, so give me some time to get out of this chair. All right? Ugh, I'll be right back. All right, we back? Oh, my God. I'm going to move all of this and put my leg elevated. Every time I have a leg injury, I feel fucking useless. It's so bad, dude. You can't walk, can't pick up your daughter, can't drive, car or motorcycle, can't go to the gym. Fuck. Really, man. When I broke my leg in a motorcycle accident, like my mom had to take care of me, right? I went back home. That took me 3 months. And then I had the surgical plate, the plate removal surgery. At least I could walk, but I was a little bit immobile. So my wife had to take care of me. And now I'm immobile again because I tore my quad. And now my wife had to take care of me again. Fuck, man. I mean, it's like a good learning moment how to ask for help. I'm not the kind of guy who asks for help. I give help. I offered my advice, but I don't take advice. Maybe it's a good time to humble up. At least my wife doesn't have to wipe my ass. Imagine if I had some guys reached out like they had double quad tears. And I'm like, man, spent like 3 weeks in bed, dude. And I remember every time you got to go pee, you have to pee in one of those pee bottles, a little jug. And then you have to, like, hey, can you change the pee bottle? Fuck, man. Oh, well. Brother, just watched your video on your quad injury. I'm sorry for your misfortune. Listen, I'm going to reach out to you via email. You do a lot for the community, and sure you have an amazing support system around you and extensive experience with these kinds of injuries, but only I've been in MMA and martial arts my whole life and used to fight professionally, but for the last 15 years, I've been hands-on with the rehabilitation of our MMA fighters out of a few gyms, including but not limited to TriStar. Anything I can do to help you. See, this is why I love this fucking community, right? People reach out offering their advices. I do have some thoughts and ideas on things I did not hear you mention. I could extensively turn the tide on how you heal. Injectable. Oh, no, that's somebody else. All right. Hey, dude, if you want to take the time to write me an email and discuss everything that you've learned through MMA and resolving around these kinds of injuries, I'm all ears, dude. I'm all fucking ears, especially with a physique like that. Like a lot of people reach out. I had one friend that lived in Pattaya. I think he's in Vietnam right now. So he reached out. He's like 52 years old. Killer physique, dude. Killer physique. Tori squat also. Freak accident. And he gave me his protocol. I did my protocol and he added some things. He did hyperbaric. Jesus Christ. He did hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber. He has one of those devices. I don't have that, unfortunately. But dude, if you see what he looks like now, okay, it's the one quad a little bit smaller, but it's separated. He's dry. He looks good. So, right. Anything you can contribute by email, just send it over, man. I'm all ears. I'm already sick of the shit, and it's only been 2 weeks. Today I was walking around. I went to this hot rod and the motorcycle modification expo. I was there for 1 hour, and my leg already started hurting. I know I shouldn't be going there. The doctor's like, take it easy. Don't rush it. Take it easy. And then you read online, 2 weeks, immobilize, ambulation of the leg. And I'm just walking around with it. Like, fuck it. Doesn't hurt. So I'm a little bit presumptuous, but fuck, man. I just can't stay at home the whole day. Anyway, send it over, bro. I'm all ears. I'll update the protocol as I go along. Injectable L-carnitine, 500 milligrams. For how long before fasted cardio have you noticed any difference with or without an insulin spike? Sub-Q or IM? I've taken it with insulin. I've taken it without insulin. If you take insulin with carnitine 2 IUs, your cardio session is going to be brutal because you'll go hypo. I've done that many times. Good for fat loss, but not for the faint of heart. So, proceed with caution. I take 500 milligrams sub-Q. Let's say 30 milligrams, 30 minutes before fasted cardio, when I was still doing fasted cardio, but right now I have a quad tear, so can't do it. But I put in my fucking years, okay? I put in my years of fasted cardio. So give me a break, Sonia. Give me a break, Sonia. Okay. If you know, you know. So yeah, 30 minutes sub-Q before fasted cardio. Do you need an insulin spike? No, because you get an insulin spike for breakfast. So whatever you don't absorb through muscular contractions, you'll absorb during your breakfast. Even if you have eggs for breakfast, that's enough of an insulin spike to absorb whatever carnitine you didn't absorb during the fasted cardio session. And will you get fat loss later on from that carnitine that you just absorbed? It's not like all the creatine monohydrate or hydrochloride that you take pre-workout that you use during that workout. It's not right away. It's beneficial to take it around the workout. Will you use it all during the workout or all during the cardio session? Probably not. Some of it you will store. Some of it you will use later in the day. And some of it you will use during the next cardio session. And again, if people are like, oh, I want to optimize everything, you're optimizing 0.5%. Not worrying and just sticking to the program. It will do more for you than overanalyzing everything. Steve, did you replace oral pregnenolone for oral progesterone? No. I replaced pregnenolone for the mitochondrial support stack because mitochondria produce pregnenolone. So in the beginning, when I talked about oral pregnenolone and oral DHA, that was before I introduced, or me and several people in this community introduced the idea of mitochondrial health. You're welcome. And ever since I've been focusing on that, I don't think that oral pregnenolone is required unless you're really deficient or you can't afford the mitochondrial support stack because, well, MOTS-C and SS31, methylene blue. Methylene blue is kind of cheap, but the full mitochondrial support stack is expensive, way more expensive than oral pregnenolone. So if you're deficient in pregnenolone or serum progesterone levels are low, you might be deficient in pregnenolone. And then oral pregnenolone is a very cheap way to bring that back up. If you did you notice an improvement in libido? My libido is always good. I have a hot wife, very sexy, fit, in shape, nice ass. She knows exactly what I like after 10 years of marriage. So all she needs to do is look at me a certain way, and it's game on, even with a quad tear. Oh yes. Does it hurt? It sure does. Is it worth it? Yes. Oral progesterone I take now. I'm 1 week in, so it's like 4 doses. 4 doses. Did my libido improve since then? Not really, but my serum progesterone levels were in range, so I'm taking it for estrogen or for collagen synthesis purposes. I do notice that every time I stop training, that my libido goes up a little bit and my water retention goes away. But that's training induced, right? It makes you tired, it makes you a little bit water retentive. I'm sure the heat shock proteins from the hot tub is helping also, and all the copious amounts of sweating. So I'm a lot leaner, even though I'm on 5-AU growth hormone. And my estradiol is, well, where should it be now? 20 picograms per milliliter. I might need to add in some HCG to bring estradiol back up. So my libido is a little bit higher. Is that from the oral progesterone? Probably not. Is that from stopping training? Surely, because now I'm not making myself fucking tired in the gym. And now I have a lot more energy to fuck, even though my body does not really want to cooperate because, well, you know, to fuck properly, you need some quad mobility, and one of the quads is impaired. So, you know, I'm kind of like one leg up. Use your imagination. So ITPP, Cardarine, and data. Anything else on top of your head for hybrid athletes? Maybe a tier list for the enhanced games. How about you use the fucking search function, bro? I have videos on this shit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe hypoxin, look into that. ITPP, Cardarine, data, hypoxin, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. Tier list for the enhanced games. Just watch the MMA drug stack video. It's all discussed there. And unlimited endurance. Type in endurance and MMA and you'll get videos. You'll be surprised. But you guys don't want to use the search function. You'd rather send me money. What kind of currency is that? I've never seen that sign. Hey, Steve, I'm doing a kidney surgery for tumor removal in 2 days. How big would the difference be if I'm taking BPC alone versus TB500? Much love, then, or man. Okay. If it's a tumor, I would wait with BPC and TB500 until you've been cleared. Because for tumors and cancer, you probably don't want angiogenesis. Because that could, like a tumor is very susceptible to angiogenesis, and these kinds of growth factors like TB500, BPC157, growth hormone, maybe I don't think that GHK copper had shown tumor and cancer proliferating effects, but BPC157, TB500, and for certainly growth hormone and its downstream hormone IGF-1 can be quite prolific. So I would wait until you're 100% tumor-free or in remission. And I'm well aware that the tumor is not a cancer, but still. I would wait until the doctor... I would look into myoinositol tripyrophosphate, right, this one, that has proven anti-cancer and anti-tumor effects by inhibiting and reducing angiogenesis. Will that mean that surgery from the kidney, or recovery from the kidney surgery is slower? Potentially. Do you have less likelihood of the tumor and the cancer to come back? Very likely. So I would look into ITPP. I discussed that during the deep dive. I'm not taking ITPP right now because I want all the angiogenesis and the collagen synthesis and the the recovery from this surgery. But in your case, if I had a tumor, I would not take growth hormone. I would not take BPC157. I would not take TB500. I would look into myoinositol tripyrophosphate and SS31. Because SS31 has kidney protective benefits. And, let me look into the fucking... because I got it right here. SS31 deep dive. Script. Does it have any cancer? Cancer benefits. Cancer. Can't remember. No. Tumor. Jeez, fuck, man. Tumor. Here you go. Prevents acute ischemia and kidney injury and maintains kidney function. Reduces renal tuber necrosis factor alpha. So that's a hormone, not the tumor. So it reduces tumor necrosis factor alpha. Whether that has to do with your tumor, but it has so many benefits for the kidneys. I would look into SS31 and ITPP over BPC157 and TB500. Yeah, but do your own research. I can't see that it has any anti-cancer, any anti-tumor benefits, but it does do wonders for kidney health based on the research that I've done, even though there's no human clinical trial looking into kidney health, which is something they should be looking into. Anyway, good luck with the surgery, man. I'm sure you'll be out of commission for a while. Yeah. But hey, if you catch it early, it should be able to fix it early enough too. My last blood work on 300 tests put my test at 2,000, give or take. Estradiol low, 22. I'm low aromatizer at 8% body fat. Do you think I can use Ment 5 milligrams per day along with some Primo for future cycles? Yes. But if you use Ment and Primo, then Primo will have aromatase inhibiting effects on the Ment and the testosterone, and your estradiol might be lower. And keep in mind that estradiol converts into 7-alpha methyl estradiol. Will detect on a non-sensitive test, but not on a sensitive test. And we don't know if 7-alpha methyl estradiol has similar, like completely bioidentical, similar effects as regular estradiol coming from testosterone or not. It's not really been studied that much. So will you have an HDL increase or an SHBG increase or blood pressure management increase or side effects from Ment? The estradiol that comes from it, I'm not really sure. I like Ment though, put me in a good mood. Maybe you try 300 tests, 35 milligrams of Ment for 4 to 6 weeks. Check your estradiol, check your blood pressure, check everything regarding your health before you throw in the Primo. And if you're 8% body fat, I think 300 tests and 35 milligrams of Ment or 50 milligrams of Ment per week is probably going to make you look pretty good and full. You know? And then if your body fat levels are 8% and your estradiol stays around 25, maybe you throw in the Primo to look even better. Or you do what I did, 300 tests, 100 NPP or DECA, and 300 Primo. So you promote the conversion of testosterone into estradiol by adding in a little bit of nandrolone, which again is a metabolic intermediate in the aromatase enzyme. Member for 26 months, 3 years. Holy shit. This is the first time I see your username. One question every 3 years. That's a very expensive question. 26. Oh, it's 2.5, not 3 years. Two and a bit. Two and a quarter times 10. $260. He already sent me based on a membership of $10. One question from what I can remember. Hybrid athlete question have come up a few times today. Hypothetically, what would be your ideal 1 to 1.5 gram cycle for a hybrid athlete? 500 tests, 100 DECA, 200 EQ. No. If you're a hybrid athlete, you need stamina, and I wouldn't do more than 200 tests, 250 tests. No DECA, put too much water on you. EQ will make more oxidative stress, might hinder your endurance, even though it does raise hematocrit. Hybrid athletes stick with TRT, maybe slightly a little bit more, maybe a little bit of growth hormone, and focus on the cardrine, the ITPP, the data, anything that boosts stamina. Because hybrid athletes, you're not that strong, dude. When you do high rocks, CrossFit, hybrid athletes, you're not that strong. You don't need so much gear for strength. What you need to focus on is stamina. So TRT, maybe 300 tests. Anavar I wouldn't touch because it just makes you gas out. DECA puts too much weight and water on you. EQ, oxidative stress. TRT, cardrine, ITPP, data, hypoxin, EPO. That's what I would look into. My pleasure, dude. You put in a lot of work. Right, and I'm sure with time you'll get better at the recording game and have to read less off the screen. But yeah, that takes years, man, to get used to. And I still look at the screen all the time and have to read the questions, obviously. But a good for a first video, very good job. And sorry for not catching that you used RD kit to get to these potential metabolites. Again, it's with deep dives, it's a lot of information, and I probably need to watch it 2 or 3 times to really get the gist of it, of what you made. But a great effort on your part. Yeah. Make more. Spam care. What? Steve, arse. 5,000 arses. If you know, you know. Hey, Steve, started GHRP6, dosing 125 micrograms fasted, 125 micrograms pre-bed. Any tips? I think the dose is like 300 micrograms, if I remember correctly. Fasted cardio, can I add in MK-677? Yes, you could. Thanks as always. Yeah, I'd up the dose to like 300 micrograms 3 times per day because it has a reasonably short half-life. And if you want to add in MK-677, why don't you run like 200 to 300 micrograms GHRP6 2 to 3 times per day for a couple of weeks, and then switch to MK-677 and see what you like more instead of combining it, because they work on a similar pathway, and now don't know what's doing what. Right? Is the GHRP6 boosting your growth hormone and making you hungry, or is the MK-677, or is the overlapping effect? Not really sure, right? So I would run GHRP6 at the maximum dose for a couple of weeks, then run MK-677 pre-bed 30 milligrams per day for a couple of weeks, and then switch to growth hormone and see where you get the most bang for your buck. It's got to be growth hormone. Growth. Yeah, growth hormone. I'm sure it's growth hormone. I'm 47. Jesus Christ. I'm 42. I'm going to be 43 this year. Send me your information, bro. I would love to know. What is your recommended reconstitution concentration for glutathione? Usually 200 milligrams per milliliter, give or take. It has tolerable post-injection pain. I have, from Disguised Alpha, I have 200 milligrams glutathione per 1 milliliter with taurine and vitamin C. That was a good blend. Minimal post-injection pain. And then the Bayer Tationel that I have, that's 600 milligrams per 4 milliliters. So that's what? 600 divided by 4. That's 150 milligrams per 1 milliliter. Yeah, that's pretty doable also. I got you, of course. Pleasure is mine. Awesome, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Looking forward to your email. I'll make sure to do some extra fasted cardio for you, Papa Steve. Yes. Do like 30 minutes so I can have a cheesecake tomorrow. All right? Just send me his... So, or take the fucking, the fat away. So I can have some cheesecake tomorrow. Tadalafil can affect blood sugar. Is it problematic? Likely not. Check our estradiol, LH. Oh, man. I'm not yawning at you, dude, but it's like 3 hours past my bedtime. I go to bed at 11 now. And this the Grillamide, it works wonders, but it's caffeine only takes me that far. Yeah, so Cialis can lower your blood pressure. Obviously, it can lower or raise your estradiol, but in most people, it lowers your estradiol. Total testosterone study is pretty much the same. I don't think it can have an effect on luteinizing hormone or follicle-stimulating hormone, but if you're not sure, I have a deep dive on Cialis too. 50 minutes, 40 minutes. Tell you everything that you need to know. If you want a short gist of it, acid reflux and massive boners. Just for making your life, you got me. Well, anyway, you deserve the goodwill. You put a lot out there. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Awesome, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, let's... we got 15 more minutes. Keep it steroids and bodybuilding related. We try, man. We married 23 years. You know why? The smooth skin, as Brother Steve would say, from 2 podcasts ago. If you want to have smooth skin on your dick, BJ is the best moisturizer. And also find somebody you find attractive, no libido problems. You're the wife. I look better than me. Yeah, man. It's like a lot of guys that have like libido issues, right? And then you look at your wives and you're like, well, I hate to say it, but I would have libido issues too, you know? So job number one is to get a good physique. Job number two is to get a wife that matches that physique, and then you marry. Not now we're gonna get in shape after marriage. No, that's not how it works. Let her prove herself, and you need to prove yourself also. Like look at Ferris, look at me, look at my wife. I mean, I'm sure his wife is hot also. Like focus on yourself, king, and then you get a matching wife that is hot and will stay hot, even when she's pregnant and even gets a little bit fat afterwards. It's fine, you know. She'll still be hot because she won't be as fat, dude. When I went with my wife to like these fertility places, right? Pregnancy classes and all that shit. Dude, women are, yeah, fat as fuck, dude. God damn it. It is no reason to get that fat. Well, you put on a little bit of weight when you're pregnant? Sure, it's fine. You can get it off right after, you know, not right after because you're breastfeeding, but you know, if you eat healthy, your body doesn't get fat, you know, unless you bulk up for the off season, but then you see you see the fat wife with one baby, but she looks like she has triplets, and then you see the dude, and you're like, well, okay, fine, I get it. Your pastime is not going to the gym; you're just like eating. Steve, I don't know why my dick doesn't work. Well, first of all, you can't see your dick because you're fat, and because you're fat, you have a fat wife. I wouldn't want to fuck her either. You know, that's your problem. Get in shape, get a hot wife, and she stay hot when you stay hot. So why do you think I'm always in shape? Because I want my wife to stay in shape so I can fuck her hard. I don't want this much of lower belly fat and then this much of her, well, depending on the position. And then it's a lot of inches that you're missing, man. Losing a lot of range of motion there. To our Lord and Savior, don't, no. Just Daddy Steve is fine. Let's not get religious here. Here's my weekly penance. Would it be overkill or redundant to add in Superdrol to peak for a photo shoot when I'm already on injectable YK11 30 milligrams per week? Thanks for all that you do. I do not know. But you're doing a photo shoot. You're doing a peak. You're getting one photo shoot and one peak. So why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? And if you're injectable YK11, you probably are not too unhealthy yet, so you have a little bit of wiggle room. 20 milligrams Superdrol. Send me your pictures a couple weeks from now. Let's see. Take your pictures now. Add in the Superdrol. 20 milligrams per day. You're already on 30 milligrams injectable YK11. And then show us. You'll be the first. Like Superdrol and Hematocrit. Oh my God, dude. Fucking hard as a rock. Do you feel toxic? And are you moody? And is your liver like literally prolapsing out of your asshole, growing two legs and trying to run away from your abuse? Yes. And will you get the same with Superdrol injectable YK11? Probably less, but it will probably still happen. Will you look freaky? I'm sure of it. You'll look like hard and dense and dry and nasty, veins everywhere. And will those pictures look good? Absolutely, man. I have pictures, like now I'm fucked, right? My body is fucked. Quad tear, no calf. I don't have the pictures here, but I have pictures from multiple times that I was in shape. When my wife was still competing, we'd do a photo shoot. I think I have like 3 or 4 or 5 photo shoots with her. She was in shape. I was in shape. And those pictures will last us a lifetime. Do I feel bad looking at those pictures for not being able to duplicate that shape? Yes. But at least the pictures are there, you know? So yeah, you only get so many photo shoots, man, unless you compete. So all in, especially if you're lean. Frame it, put it like in the gym. Oh, look at this shit. I used to look back in the day. I used to look good, bro. Oh, Brandon looks good now, but yeah, for me it's been a couple years. Oh well. I'm gonna throw up this one. I put it right there in the chat. No more super chats. So this is the last one. No more super chats. Fuck you. I'll take your money. So if you send me money now, I'll take it and will not answer it. We're going to go until 2 a.m. 10 more minutes. And a thing I can do while on low cycle, 250 tests to keep same face as when natural, when estradiol is dialed in. Low body fat levels, ketogenic diet. I mean, I'm on 200 tests. Does my face, well, I'm on 5 IOs of GH. Does my face look natural? Not even close to I'm so ugly. It's okay. All I need is a shave, and somebody is willing to sit on it. All I need is one peach to sit on this face. That's enough. Ketogenic diet, estradiol in range, no growth hormone. Hereditary tried to blunt your appetite. Glutathione, GHK copper, you know, and shave. Shave, man. Gotta shave. I want to grow a mustache. Mustache, beards just make you look fucking old. I don't know why people do it. Yeah, it's more masculine. No, it's not. No, it's not. Shaving is the way to go. Present thoughts on the relationship between estradiol and growth hormone efficacy. Is there any meaningful relationship? If you're splitting hairs, yes. You might get more IGF-1 out of it. Do women have crazy high IGF-1 levels with high estradiol? Not really. If you ramp up everything, is it better to have somewhat elevated estradiol towards the top or slightly over the reference range? Sure. I think there's a beneficial effect regarding collagen synthesis and potentially IGF-1 production downstream. Will it be much of a noticeable difference if you're not competing? Probably not. Splitting hairs. If that's worth it to you, sure. I always kept my estrogen a little bit towards the top of the reference range, and I always felt pretty anabolic. And if I reduce the estrogen, I get a little bit drier. Do I feel less anabolic? Not really. Not really. Anyway, don't worry about it. Have fun with it. Yeah, my estrogen's 35, bro. I'd be so much better if it's 50. Chill the fuck out. Tesamorelin, Apromelin, IGF-1 is at 372. Should I even consider replacing it with growth hormone? Currently 15 to 70% body fat, still cutting on Reta and MOT-C. Go to 2 IUs, 3 IUs of growth hormone. You know what? Do this. Calculate how much money you spent on the Tesamorelin and Apromelin. Whatever money you spend, let's say it's $5 per day, spend $5 on growth hormone, on generics. You can probably get 3 IUs for that. And then let's see where your IGF-1 and your body composition is at. So you spent the exact same amount of money, but you switch from the growth hormone secretagogues to the actual growth hormone. Bang for your buck. Same money, maybe better results. Maybe not. Maybe it's worth it to do the Tesamorelin, Apromelin for the $5 or $7 that you're spending. But I know Tesamorelin is fucking pricey. Like I've always said, if you spend the same amount of money, you can probably run 6 IUs of growth hormone, and your IGF-1 will be higher, and your results will be better. Yeah, but I can't get it. Sure, you can. All you need to know is where to look, and I point you guys in very good directions. Is it possible to keep the exact same face on cycles when natty? No, but on TRT you can. When I cycle off, I get my youthful face back. Each cycle, I get slight face blow to look older, regardless of my estradiol. TRT, man, that's it. TRT, ketogenic diet, hereditary diet, so you don't eat too much. And even then, I'm on TRT right now, and hereditary diet and a ketogenic diet, and my face is still watery. But I'm on growth hormone. And I'm fucking old. I'm 42 years old. A little bit of wear and tear is to be expected, a little bit of skin folds, I mean, I stopped using the CPAP machine, but I always had a nasal pillow because I'm just not heavy anymore, so I don't need the CPAP. Yeah, and grow a pair so you don't have to give a shit. Yeah, but I want to look a certain way so I can be more with the ladies. Your personality goes a lot further than how you look, dude. Like all those Looksmaxer guys that they're popular now, zero fucking person, zero. Zero. Like a beautiful woman, zero fucking personality. Because they don't need a personality because they got looks. But hey, in the real world, it's a little bit more than portraying yourself on Instagram. And you can look cool on Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat with a picture, but in the real world, you need a little bit more. You need a little bit of poise and flair and persona and talk, and you can't get that from a bottle. You need that by interacting with people. You need to get out there and talk to people and enjoy yourself and talk a little bit. Yeah, I need GHB. No, you fucking shit. Exposure therapy. Just get out there and talk to people. And then you'll be surprised that, dude, even if you're bald and you might have some yellow teeth and a scar or you didn't shave that day, it doesn't fucking matter, dude. It doesn't fucking matter. Don't be so hard on yourself. Pushing hard at the end of a cut with GLP-1s, what dosage do you recommend MOTS-C and a 5-amino-1-MQ? 1 milligram MOTS-C per day and 150 milligrams oral 5-amino-1-MQ or 50 milligrams injectable. Seems to be pretty comparable. Yeah, peach is calorie free, right? It's low calories. Just ask Peter Attia. Fuck. Steve, you want a wife that is hot, not a hot wife? Yeah, hot wife can be drama also. Happy to contribute to the weekly Cheesecake Fund. Any way to alleviate the mood, motivation, flattening effects from Reta outside or just lowering the dose? I'm on 9 milligrams titrated up over a year. Yeah, some people get flat from it, right? I don't think that the glycogen is leaving the muscle tissue through glucagon receptor agonism that only works on the liver, right? Where you get a glucose release from the liver, glycogenolysis. But it makes you flat because you eat less carbs. So you can still get good fullness if you have a weekly refeed. And if you use something like insulin or Anadrol, you still get fullness. But yeah, alleviate the mood, motivation, flattening effect. Oh, flattening on the mood and motivation, and flattening of the skeletal muscle. Yeah, so that could be a dopamine receptor or dopamine reduction, right? So you're probably blunting your appetite by not eating enough neurotransmitter precursors. So dietary amino acids from animal meat sources shouldn't make you get less amino acid precursors. That's 5-HTP, glutamate, L-tyrosine, and otherwise supplement with a little bit of L-tyrosine. Like if you supplement with 500 to 1,000 milligrams L-tyrosine a couple times per day, and vitamin B6, B5P, 25 milligrams to help with the conversion of L-tyrosine into L-dopa and to dopamine, I think that will help a lot. And otherwise, tesofensine, this is selective serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine reuptake inhibitor that will improve your mood quite a bit. Maybe eat a little bit better. Maybe you need a little bit of iron. Like iron contributes to neurotransmitter synthesis, and maybe you're iron deficient. We see that now on Bloodwork, and that Paul Barnett is somebody who brought that to our attention. That some people, they have impaired iron absorption, and thus they go somewhat anemic. But you also need iron for neurotransmitter synthesis, like I mentioned in the Entrepreneur Deep Dive video series. So you need a little bit of iron in your diet, and whether that's coming from meat, right, animal meat sources, so beef, salmon has a good amount of iron, but mostly beef liver. If you're deficient in iron, maybe you need an iron supplement, or you need neurotransmitter precursors like 5-HTP, L-tyrosine, and those two can help with serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine production. Or you need, something to motivate you, like ACD-536, 5-HT2A receptor agonist, puts me in a good fucking mood. Fluvoxamine put me in a good fucking mood. Grillamine Respawn put me in a good fucking mood. So maybe you need an upper alongside the Reta. Sorry, I misinterpreted about skeletal muscle flatness instead of mood and motivation flatness. But yeah, and otherwise there's always tesofensine. Hereditary tesofensine, That's a pretty potent stack for appetite reduction and good mood. All right, a couple quick ones. Omar, 100 likes in 10 minutes. Liking is too much work, man. But use my code. That's more enough. Speak Dutch. Nee, godverdomme, ik haat Nederlands spreken. En ik doe het liever zo min mogelijk. Thanks for the super chat. Right here. Here. You see it? Yeah, right here. No more super chats. Favorite gym in Phuket? Haven't been there since 2019, 2018. But I would say that... fuck, I don't even know, man. Maximum Fitness. You're not wrong at all. I updated my profile picture. That's me and her. I can't even imagine taking care of myself and my wife not looking like this. She's 45. Yeah, look at these guys. This is how you stay married, dude. You just got to look good, both of you. Just look good so you have steaming hot sex. And everybody else that you know is... It's not as hot as your wife or your husband. How difficult is it? Steve, what's your success to staying married that long? Stay in shape. Stay in shape. A little bit of TRT. You know, good sex. Make a good amount of money. So, like, you know, you can take her out to dinner and then fuck her silly. How more do you want, man? All right. Last one. Heard about your leg. Sorry, brother. I'm looking forward to hearing about your record-breaking recovery time. Yeah, I'm already walking. So tomorrow I'm going to go to the doctor and make him cringe. And he's like, yeah, what the fuck? How the fuck are you walking? How, you know? Well, it's probably the peptides, bro. It's a link down below in case you want to know. All right, guys, it's been 2 hours. I got to go hit the sack. And then we'll be back next weekend with some updates. Let's see if the protocol changed or if I'm already bending my leg at 90% with 50% body weight load. You never know, right? But it's the recovery is going well so far. I had a couple bad days, but now that, you know, I put my mind to it, I'm happy to report that it's looking promising. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. I know I will. Won't be any movies to watch because I already watched Mortal Kombat 2, but I guess I'll play some video games. All right, guys, peace out. See you next weekend. Enjoy yourself.